Hi, this is Victor Thomas. Hope you're doing well. And in today's video, we are joined by a very special guest, Lauren Eastman, the founder of Issima PR, a PR agency that specializes in marketing, content creation, social media, and of course, branding. And today we're going to be talking about building your personal brand, what that means, how you can do it, and why it's important. So Lauren, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Victor. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Thanks
How
for
are
having me
you?
on. I'm doing well, thanks.
Okay, cool. So today we're talking about personal branding, which is great because that's something I really don't know much about, and I frankly don't do maybe that much, or maybe I do and I just don't know it. But let's start off here. Let's talk about what is personal branding and why is it important?
Okay, thank you. Well, personal branding, there is a little bit of a difference between business branding and personal branding. Branding for a business is really much more of a broad scale visual effort, whereas branding for an individual personally is about letting your personality show through. You really want to make sure that you're bringing your personal attributes to the table, whether you are a business owner or you're working in a corporation, or even if you're getting ready to graduate from college. Today's digital era means that we're not meeting people in person and establishing deep relationships. Oftentimes we're working with people we've never met and we're finding them through digital platforms. So it's really important to define what your brand is, get it out all across the platforms that you need to reach your audience with, and making sure that that message is consistent.
Okay, so tell me again, so then what is a personal brand?
A personal brand is really something that defines who you are and what you offer. It really identifies the unique attributes that you bring to your specific audience, and it also provides an immediate connection to potential clients who've never met you.
Okay, and then how does that work then? How would you go about doing that, I guess, is my first question.
Well, there is actually a process to going through the branding, the 5 tenets of branding, I would call it. There's 5 steps that we do. We've narrowed down your strengths to 3 major value adds, and then we back them up with specifics. So there's a really great idea about the number of 3 in branding. You can talk about your skill set within the present tense, past tense, and future tense, or you could talk about your skills in basic, intermediate, and deep industry experience, for example. So if you wanted to say, you're working in a leadership role, well, what kind of a leader are you? Are you an inclusive leader? Are you an empathetic leader? Are you a driving leader for results? And then how can you back that up in terms of how you're coming across visually and what you're saying in your bio and in all of the written materials that you're putting out there? Number 2 is really being honest about your challenges. So after you narrow down your strengths, then you want to figure out where are you challenged branding offer. And it's also not something that I have to do with my career, so that's wonderful. But really being aware about what your skill set is and what it isn't. And a lot of times in order to do this, we have to go outside of ourselves and ask our peer group, ask our friends, ask our family, what do you see as my skills and what do you see as my challenges? And that really just helps to narrow in on what to avoid when speaking about your brand, your personal brand. Step 3. So asking yourself, what does success look like for me, is really the next step in branding. Because when you're thinking about why you're doing this, you have to imagine what you're looking for. So for instance, are you looking to build your network to get more awareness out about you? Imagine that you're working for a company and you're thinking about making a shift in your career. You either want a promotion or you actually might want to jump firms. So you want to get a larger network out there of people who are going to see you for who you are within that company. Do you want speaking? If so, you really want to showcase your speaking ability. Maybe do some vlogs so people can see you speaking, have some examples of what you look like on camera, etc. Or do you want a board invite? Are you interested in joining a nonprofit? Other areas that are important are considering, do you want to do some public relations work? Do you want to go out into the media? And therefore, what is your brand that becomes so much more important because it follows through with the message that you're trying to get across. The message changes a lot more dynamically than your brand does, but your brand also does need refreshment, which is one of the steps we'll get to. So those are some of the areas to think about. So after you get all of your items together and put your package together, whether that's your bio, your speaking points, your backgrounder, then you take it back out to your audience and you ask them for their honest opinions. Does this really reflect what we talked about? Do you feel like this is authentic? Are there areas that I can tweak? Just make sure you have another set of eyes on your bio, your headshot, etc., and make sure that ties together. And an example of that would be saying that you're highly organized, that you're always, very much detail oriented, and then having your headshot have wavy, messy hair or a wrinkled shirt, for instance. It's simple stuff, but you have to understand what you're trying to get across and make sure that you're seeing it through from every angle.
So what are some of the biggest mistakes people make when doing their personal branding or just like branding in general?
Sure. There's 5 mistakes I know of, and I always like just to lay it down in a list format here. But the first and most important is just thinking that branding doesn't apply to you. Branding applies to everyone. It's sort of like a child playing hide and seek who closes his eyes and he thinks he can't be seen. I promise you, if you don't brand yourself, you will actually be invisible. You will not be seen. You will not be competitive in today's marketplace. Another mistake that people make with branding is trying to DIY it. So do it yourself. It works to a certain extent. Get yourself to the point. But again, we talked about the importance of this feedback from your great mentors and your peers. You need that feedback in order to really know if you're asking all the right questions. You also sometimes need experts to come in and do things like bring your logo to life. A lot of people are doing type of work right now where they have their own personal logo for what they're doing. And I don't know how to make a logo. Do you know how to make a logo? So I'd rather bring an expert in to help me with that part of my brand and understand why it's so important that it flows with everything else I'm doing. Another mistake people make is being anything other than yourself. We hear so much about the importance of authenticity now, but it is so important because you can see right through it if you don't have that backup across the board for what your brand is. So the last branding mistake people make, and again, I feel that I've touched on this, is just letting your brand get stale or out of date. Brands, just like everything else in our life, need constant upkeep. I think refreshing your can really help you make sure you're just looking the part for the job that you are wanting to achieve.
Yeah, I really like that. It was a great takeaway, the future vision idea. Really stuck with me here. Okay, so how does someone get started with all this? So we've listened to all this. I believe you. I should do personal branding. Where do I start?
So really, when you're thinking about getting started in branding, you want to take stock of what your current assets are. So where does it need updating? Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, you might say, I know that I'm preparing for whether I'm trying to do, and again, there are moments when you decide you want to brand. It's like, are you going out on your own for business? Are you going to be trying to do speaking engagements, etc.? So that when you know what your goals are, take stock of what you've got, see if it fits, see where it needs to be tweaked, and again, just take that time to assess what your current assets are doing for you, and then finding out, making sure that you're active on the right media channels socially is very important now more than ever. I think there's still a lot of confusion from people wondering, should I be on Twitter? Should I be on Facebook? Should I be on Pinterest? Should I be on LinkedIn? Well, it depends. It really depends on your personal goals. And so that's something that we talk about, we try to assess. I say to all of my clients, it's like taking a walk in the woods. You cannot take every path. So not every single channel applies, and it's not always a great idea to try to tackle it all, because one of the things that's important about building your audience and awareness is actually being active on those social channels that you choose.
Right.
And then another thing to check into when you're getting ready to get started, Google yourself. Figure out, have I been in the news lately? Different, hopefully only good. Who looks like the expert that I want, and then goes and searches for you is going to see those same things. And then, yeah, give me a call. We have a branding package that we work with our clients. It's called Brand Me, and it's a very clear-cut, goal-focused workshop to bring your brand tied up with a bow and get it ready for the next step.
Well, that's terrific, Lauren. Those all sound like great piece of advice, and it's really been great interviewing you today. And thanks so much. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, how would they go about finding you?
You can find me on issimapr.com, which is ISSIMAPR.com, and you can also just give me a call. My phone number is at the bottom of the website, and I look forward to being in touch.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks again. I really learned a lot, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Victor.
All right.
Great to
Cheers.
see you. Bye.
Bye.